Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Sonic Unleashed. It feels like forever, but we're actually going to continue the story today and following the lit up part going to Holoska into Cool Edge Night, which we have had waiting for us for quite a bit. But also, it's been even longer since we did the day act of Cool Edge. Yeah, the pacing of this game sometimes, as we have established, a little bit weird. But that's fine, because this level, while we have waited for it a long time, is, in fact, pretty cool. I had to say it, I'm so sorry. Anyway, it is hidden behind these three levers, which I've talked about before. They have a combination, which I don't know if any NPC at any point tells you about, or if you can find out about it with a hint somewhere. It seems to me that like it's just trial and error. I know the combination, it's 2, 3, 1. It's like the deco tree in Ocarina of Time. And I don't know if you're just intended to brute force it, if I'm being stupid or whatever. I specifically waited this long until the very last moment to see if I could find out if somebody tells me about it, but I don't think that's the case. Anyway, into the level we go. And this one is a pretty long one, as you might be able to tell from the video length, but it is rather chill, as in there are no real parts where I'd be like, okay, so this one here is an absolute killer. There are a few moments at the very end where I'm like, this is a little bit tricky, but overall most of this level is just going through it, exploring, killing a few things, nothing too difficult, having generally a great time. There are ice physics, I just demonstrated them, but they are pretty minor and relatively easy to handle. Like, you do slip on these things, sure, absolutely, but overall dealing with it is just a matter of being a little bit careful, jumping occasionally, and that's about it. You will see me explore a lot in this level because as we progress through the game, I will have played these stages less and less the first 1 or 2 times that I did play the game, and that means that I am mostly completely clueless where everything is, especially because I didn't explore that thoroughly the first times that I played the game. So that means that I am live finding out about a few things, and I am also live finding out what using a fire enemy can do to enemies. You could see me try it out before, but I just didn't press the right button, because if you press X, you throw the enemy. If you press Y, however, I'm pretty sure it's Y, you use them. In this case, as a flamethrower, which is fun, and you can definitely kill enemies with that really good. And I did check, in fact, you can also get points for them. This is something where I wasn't super sure, but if they die, they do give you the points, so that's nice. So up here I'm actually a little bit early because this door doesn't open yet. We have to go back and put this in, and then the door will open, which seems to me like pointless busy work, and this is definitely a less good part of the stage. Like, I don't know why they did this. You'd go up, then you put it in, then you go back up again. This is all this does, and there is no real challenge. There are no enemies here that respawn or something. You just have to do this platforming again. And I mean, I did it the first time, so obviously it's going to be really easy. It's like, shut the fuck up. Anyway, this took me like 3 more minutes of failing because it is rather awkward. You only have a very short time to get a running start. You do need a running start, however. And yeah, but finally I made it. Like, let's just not talk about this part, it sucks. I don't know why they did it. I keep looking over the edges because now that I just did Chunan Night, I'm like, so did they hide a medal over the edge? But I don't think they did, because I'm not going to find any at any point. But that's fine. I'm using the charge attacks a lot more here because I have gotten used to them being pretty damn good. But I'm also going to use the extended combos, of course, as we're going to go forward. There is just a lot more variety into the combat now that I have started to really go deep into the various moves, and I do like that. So let's take a quick look again what we get. yes, the Werewolf Rush is 4Ys and 4X. That was the issue. I did try it before, but I was like failing. These were 5Ys. This is also wrong. This was like a 6-point combo, I think, something like this. But now I did it, and this is the Werewolf Rush. It is okay. Like for an 8-button combo, which you have to be quite exact to not interrupt it, it's a little bit disappointing. When I was first playing the game, I didn't deliberately input combos. I have stated at the start of the Let's Play that I don't actually like that too much, but I feel like now that I've gotten used to the game more, it's fine. The biggest thing that is keeping me from like learning every single combo in, for example, Bayonetta, is that you have delayed attacks there. But here you just hit the button as quickly as possible, and that's okay then. This one will fall so quick. Oh, that was very, very tight timing. Yeah, but here it's fine to press all of these buttons, and during the cutscene I'm currently charged up, so that's fun. Because it is just 2 buttons most of the time, so I have mellowed out on it. And you can do some pretty cool stuff by deliberately inputting the combos. But to get to the original point, when I first played the game I was just button mashing, and whenever the Werewolf Rush came out randomly, it's pretty good. But if you know good combos, which sometimes only take 5 button presses, or for example the whole wrestling move stuff, then you don't really want to spend all this time setting up the rush just for the enemies to dodge you or something. Anyway, kept thinking that you had to use this guy to melt this door because it is so icy, but no, you just open this door. It's like just completely overthinking it in my head. But that's okay, you make this kind of mistake once and then you don't do it again. So you have to unfreeze that door and then you can open it with the lever. Again, a little bit of busy work. It feels like this is almost a lever tutorial stage for some reason, but it's okay. The main thing you have to figure out is which button you actually have to press for the fire enemies to spit fire as you are grabbing them. Here I'm being a little cheeky, just jumping ahead. Jumping off these things is surprisingly annoying, by the way. You have to really be holding the direction or something and being perfectly still, and I didn't manage it here again. As you could see, it's the second time I didn't manage it, but it's also the second time where there being a ledge saved me. Later levels will not be this generous, and jumping off things being really janky is one of the biggest causes of deaths in Werehog stages, I feel like. Fortunately, this is the last time this happens here, because this can definitely screw you over a little bit. Anyway, there's another frozen door here, but these guys, they shoot ice instead of fire, so where is the fire guy? First I will go back a little bit to actually activate this checkpoint here, because otherwise I might be very sad if I die. Now I'm thinking, like, do I need to put this thing on a button? But it's not that complicated. This button is the one that would activate the door, but nothing happens because the door is frozen. So what does the lever do? Ah, naturally. So now we can open the door with the button. Right, excellent. So these moments are just like a little baffling, because this is not really a puzzle. Like, how would I know that the lever does not open the door and in fact causes the fire to happen? It's a 50-50 chance of wasting your time. Very strange. Wasn't there a hint about something being hidden behind 2 snowmen or something? That's why I'm so interested in this wall. Something the professor said at some point, but I don't know if I'm just missing something there. I am going to miss, and I can spoil this already, exactly 1 medal at the end of this. I'm not going to get the others that I'm missing. I'm not going 90% here, but I'm deliberately skipping some which I see. And I'm going to be still 1 short. So maybe that's like the secret that I'm missing. But probably it's just some medal in a corner somewhere. Most of them are relatively obvious. We can see 2 of them right now, for example. And one of them is reached by just going over there. By the way, yes, now I have in the past actually seen it myself as well. Sometimes you get a little bit tunnel visioned on the stuff before you. But now we can actually save this, do this puzzle here uninterrupted by small critters, and it just releases these things here in a nice callback to Masuri, but fortunately we don't have to do nearly as much block pushing and lever twirling as we had to do in that god-awful level. Here I'm struggling a little bit getting Sonic to really take large strides to the side. It's something about the angle in which I hold the analog stick for some reason it's a little bit janky here as well. But you know, the Werehog being a little bit janky and probably not telling you anything new. Here immediately I'm like, I cannot jump up there, obviously, and I'm not going to try to like finagle my way on these narrow ledges here. There's probably a way to get over there, and there it is. This is the way to get up here. Excellent. And now we can keep going from up here, right? Yeah, I like this, because this means that I don't have to go back all the way and restart the whole jumping sequence just because I stopped in the middle. That is what we call nice design. Thank you very much. And in every igloo in this level, I'm pretty sure, is a secondary collectible, like not the moon and sun medals. And around every corner is a main collectible, like the sun medal here, for example. And as I've mentioned countless times and tirelessly before, I really like exploring. I really like going around the corner and being like, hey, there is something here, right? And then there is something there, and I'm feeling so clever. I just like this. This extra life is a bit worrying, isn't it? Because there is definitely a lot of pit underneath us, and there is a checkpoint, so that means you can always take a few steps back and get the extra life, because this section might kill you, right? These platforms are falling down, and then there is this stuff here where you have to jump on these and hopefully actually jump off them, but I manage here. And do I manage here? Yes, excellent, because here you can't grab a ledge at the side, so you have to do that. Now I realize that I actually have full unleash meter, so why not use this, because otherwise I might never, and I don't know if I'm like somewhat over leveled-ish, or if I'm just perfectly leveled and the game was never meant to be in any way sort of form tedious in combat, because it feels like I am doing just fine. By the way, fire enemies immune to fire, igloos somehow also immune to fire. Thanks for that hint. Ice is not immune to fire, but yeah, I can see how you might miss this if Chip doesn't tell you, so it's fine that he does. I don't mind these kinds of messages. Anyway, this is what killing the pillar does, and this is in fact how we progress in the level. Another igloo, another thing inside. Yep, this is a record, excellent. And there is another igloo to the left, is something inside there as well. Oh, there is not. I lied, I'm sorry. But most of the igloos have something inside. And never a medal, I'm pretty sure. Okay, another door which is iced over, but we can open because it is not that iced over, and here is a moon medal. So this is considered a tougher secret to get for some reason. I mean, can't win them all, right? There's another pair of snowman and snowwoman, but nothing behind them either. Like, I don't know. Again, maybe once I do inevitably do the cleanup, we'll figure out what the hint meant, or maybe it just meant somewhere in Holoska itself, and I have already gotten it. I don't know. Hey, let's keep going. The next challenge here is climbing up this ice wall, and I do like again how this stage is varying up all the stuff that you can do, presumably in a glacier when you are a Werehog. Like we are going to later on slide down the ice, we are doing here vertical platforming, we have done horizontal platforming, we have gone over the sea level ice flows and shoals and so on. Now we're doing this cool stuff here where we're going left and right and left and right. Again, it's a little bit janky, but it's just generous enough that this actually works fairly well overall. It reminds me of climbing the clock tower in Spagonia, which I also always really enjoyed. Rooftop run, specifically, night of course. There is another igloo, of course, I've seen it, yes, thank you, and there is a videotape inside, but again, I'm still checking if there isn't a medal somewhere down from one of the ledges, but that's just not the case. Here are a few more robots that I could totally catch unaware and then backstab and then fail the quick time event, because you have to do the full health equivalent short timing one. So nope, not gonna do that, just going to have a little bit of fun with my usual methods. Get a few extra points because why not, but at this point I'm like progressing fairly well through the stage. I'm killing all of the things that I see. I don't think that I need any extra points. What I do need is not to kill. Here's the promised sliding part. Getting this medal fortunately only entails holding to the right. That's fine, because I was like fearing that the kind of janky sliding controls would be like, oh god, I will never get this medal and there is no chance to go back, so I have to kill myself repeatedly to go back to the top of the ramp and the slide, I mean, and it's like, ugh. Anyway, even the very tough enemies, there's nothing substantial inside here, again, will eventually die from being set on fire once. So that's cool. It definitely proves the power of fire and that you should be using it if you have the opportunity. They also have barrels of water in the corner there, which I think you're meant to break if you manage to get yourself set on fire. So you run into this corner and use the water to not to lose too much health, which is fine, I guess, as an element of this combat, but the barrels themselves a little bit awkward in my opinion. So here I'm like, okay, so which part is the puzzle again? So here there is a checkpoint, so probably this very, very badly hidden block that we have to pull, yes, so one time in the stage we have to do that, is actually not the going forward, even though it does look here, another igloo with a thing inside, it does look like there is stage progress here, so I'm like, I don't know which side is, but no, it's just a bunch of pickups. Great, man, remember Sonic 06? Yeah, they really did well in getting rid of the capsules. I haven't really talked about this here, I've written about it, but it was always so awkward with the rings inside the capsules, and here they're just lying around for the first time in the Sonic series, I'm pretty sure. And it's pretty good, like the 10 ring pickups, obviously non-rings were still lying around. Overshot here almost, good. Will I get this? Yes, excellent. So we are well on track to getting all the medals so far, unless I have already missed one. This platform here is always a little bit hair-raising, but on the other hand, if you notice it, the sides of the platforms, they have these embellishments, so you can in fact grab onto them. Here I'm like, do I risk this? No, I'm not risking it. So deliberately I'm skipping the medal here because I feel like I have a good chance at the S rank. So I'm not going to the left. To the left, obviously there is at least one more medal, so I've skipped deliberately 2 now. But I feel like this is already risky enough without adding the extra danger of going to more of these icicles after a sliding segment, the lowering floors. I'm like, no. We are seeing this through to the end because I can feel it. The stage has been pretty long so far. That's one criticism you could levy against it with all of the lever stuff and so on. It does drag a little bit, but I feel like it's very, very varied, so it's fine in my opinion. But I'm not risking a death at this point because I feel like I'm almost going through there without dying, so that's cool. Anyway, these ice ones, if it's even ice, are completely worthless compared to the fire ones, so that's fun. So instead I'm just going to use my fists. Werehog, Unleashed charging up is overkill to the max. That is so much more damage than any normal enemy needs. I'm not going to complain about overkill, it's fun. And I wanted to charge up again because I had the time. So we see one more medal in the distance. I'm not going to try and platform over there because I'm pretty sure you can't do that. And these ledges don't have grabbable symbols on there, so do pay attention to that. Here we immediately start the slide into the checkpoint, a little bit rude immo, and here we do not have any guardrails, but fortunately very short segment, very easy to do this, and attentive viewers might have noticed there was another medal to the left that I did not see and that I will not go back to get, because again, at this point I'm like, can I get the S rank? First try, because this is, again, it's the first try. You usually see the first tries of these. And I haven't died yet, and this is in fact the final part of the level. This is the last fight, which is not particularly difficult. Like adding in the wizards with the robots is fine, I guess. Why did he block that? That's annoying. He shouldn't be able to block that in my opinion. This seems like a strong enough attack to not be blockable. Overall, there is a few waves of fights because of course, and it could be a little annoying if you don't do stuff like this, where you know, strong attack, you can easily kill enemies even through their shields. They are not requiring to do any fancy stuff, and I do like that. With enough brute force, and the Werehog is frankly about brute force and just going crazy, going whole hog. It is actually quite sensible to just hit them, and eventually you will break through with the correct techniques. Of course it's faster, but it's fine, you can just spam. Here I was waiting for an attack from the wizard, but this is a pure support wizard. Another one has spawned, very annoying. Now I'm trying to be fancy, but I'm pressing the wrong button. This was why I wanted to slam him. For that you need to press B. But no, here B, no, slamming again. Ah, this is wrong, and he somehow escapes, and now finally he's dead. Embarrassing, bad on my end, I'm sorry, this is not good cinema, but there is another wizard. I don't know exactly how these spawn. And finally, this move kills one in one hit. For some reason the others were always like dodging. Anyway, I'm not going back to look for medals in this part because I know that I have to replay anyway, and I was fearing with all the time I've already taken that my time bonus would be terrible. But actually it's like at 350,000 points, like get out of here, this is probably enough. So we see we are missing 4 medals, we know where 3 of them are, very risky at the very end, and one of them hidden behind a corner where I didn't check, so I don't know where the very last one is, but I don't know, we're gonna find out eventually. But overall, I think this went quite well. I am quite happy with this, again, first try, and now that we have the second key, we can immediately go to the boss, which I'm going to resume, basically immediately, in the next video. Thank you very much for your attention.